Good evening to everyone out there, all our friends, our partners, and just brothers and sisters out there, fellow Africans. It's always a joy, always a pleasure for us to come together on this wonderful Thursday evenings. We can dialogue and have conversation concerning our beloved continent of Africa. I want to say a shout out actually to all the Liberians out there. Happy 26th. July 26th, the independence of Liberia, and Liberia just celebrated 179th year old, a birthday literally. So we want to just give a shout out there to all our brothers and sisters, fellow Liberians in the diaspora, back home in Liberia, around the world. Happy independence, 179 years old. Tonight, welcome to AFRIH, and AFRIH is an acronym for Africans for the Restoration of Ethics in Government. We are a nonprofit organization designed to harness the expertise of professional Africans to dialogue and talk about their careers, their experiences, and what they are doing, and how those things can benefit the continent of Africa. We are more Afrocentric, and so our focus is on Africa. We believe that Africa can do better by simply doing right. For many of you who don't know me, my name is Reverend Dr. Aquilas Ricks. I'm the founder and host of AfriH. And just to give you a little genesis, a little history of this organization, how it came about, one of the things that just drive my heart is when I watch the news or when I interact with fellow Africans and I see the plight that we are going through. You know, of particular importance to me is what's been happening in North Africa. The Mediterranean Sea, where many Africans travel to North Africa,
Hmm.
and that's the closest point from there into Europe.
Yep.
And they get aboard these ferries and these boats to cross into Europe. And unfortunately, most times these boats capsize, and many of our brothers and sisters are lost in the rivers of the Mediterranean. And others will still embark on this journey. And for me, it's not so much about people seeking a better quality of life in Europe or even America or wherever they want to go. But I think for me is that it's the risk that an African would take, put their life at risk
Yep.
for a better life.
Hmm. Hmm.
And what it comes to my mind, what's happening at home. If I cannot get the opportunity to come to America or Europe, why can't my country of origin, my country of nativity, have programs of job creation, other things that I can live a better quality of life there?
Indeed. Indeed.
Those who can come to Europe and America, we thank God for that. That's great. But not
Hmm.
all Africans can make it.
Yep.
And so
Yep.
we believe that the nation must have the institutions in place to cater to the citizens, to give our people a better quality of life. And out of this, there are other things, but this is the main thing that really drives my heart. And AfriH came into existence, to be able to bring professionals in that we talk we look at different sectors, because there's no cookie cutter approach.
It's so
There's
true.
so
So
many
true.
different sectors that when it comes to governance, so much
Hmm.
different sectors.
Hmm.
But we'll,
Hmm.
we'll, we'll pick one sector every now and then, every week, a sector, and bring a professional on, and we'll dialogue how the government in Africa can improve this sector so that the life of the citizens not only will be preserved, but will be improved tremendously, that they can enjoy life.
Yes,
And
indeed.
so, out of this, today we have a guest. We have a guest with us. He's someone I've met here in Minnesota. I got to know him. He's a dear friend, a dear brother. In fact, we from the same county in
Yes.
Liberia, Bong
Yes.
County.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it's an honor to have him here because he does a lot in terms of community engagement.
Thank you.
And so today we're going to be looking at a topic. We're going to be discussing the topic. Um, Nation building through community engagement. This is a passion of his.
Hmm.
He does a lot in the community concerning the tribe, the Pele tribe from Bong County. He does a lot. There are a lot of projects they have going on back home to just help people in the community, and his expertise. I really cherish. And so we want to say a big God bless you and a welcome to our guest tonight,
Thank you, Doc.
Mr. Caimon Joe Gbamokollie, the
Yes.
national president, United Bong County Association in the Americas. Mr. Gbamokollie, welcome
Thank
so much to AfriH.
Thank you, Dr. Reyes. Indeed, I'm sincerely grateful. I'm sitting in a seat that you have previously have great folks. I remember seeing Dr. Tabla. He's my pastor, the wild man of impeccable wisdom, and so
Yeah.
it's such an honor to be in your presence this evening as well. I'm grateful to God, and I'm looking forward to this. I'm sincerely passionate about this topic. I think we can bring this
Mhm.
topic alive tonight, and hopefully it can be able to motivate someone that sits out there and don't have more how much they can get involved in what we do as folks in the community. I'm excited. Thank you for having me.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, thank you too. I'm also excited too and privileged to have you online tonight with us to share in this conversation. For those of you watching us on Facebook, in the comment field, you can make comments. I will be able to access those comments here and share them with our guests as we go along. If you don't have the information, it's facebook.com/4, the number four, Afreig, AFREIG. Go there and be able to join the conversation, ask a question, or make comments so that we all can have a wonderful time. Well, can we go ahead, Mr. National President? Can we go ahead with our conversation?
Yeah, come on, it's okay. Come on, it's
Let's jump right. Let's
okay.
jump right in. So, what the first thing we want to do, sir, is that
Mhm,
maybe tell us a bit about yourself and about your organization. You know what you are doing as an organization, both here in the diaspora and
mhm,
also back home. Let us know a little bit who you are and what
mhm.
your organization stands for.
Yeah. Thank you. So I'm sincerely privileged to be part of this institution. I hail from Bong County. I think you mentioned it earlier. From the Pele tribe, and Bong County is centrally located in Liberia, West Africa. And I'm this. Caimon is this kid that grew up in a little village, literally no access to formal education and all the different and things that we need, for development. All of I think I can say I used this word before. I said God sent someone, and that person managed to snatch me from that little village. And by the way, my father comes from the community background as well. My dad was a clan chief, and so I will talk a little bit about it during this podcast. Just the road of the town chief. So I watched him from forefront how he manages and the different dynamics of dealing with the community as a little boy. So grew up from there and managed to come to the city where to have access to formal education, Monrovia for that matter, and live with foster. In this country, you call it foster family in the West, but there, it's just a family member. Just take you to a family member and
That's
say,
right.
hey, this is your own child. So I grew up there with a
Yes,
very
yes.
loving family and gave me a lot of access to formal education and walking. Obviously, most Liberians ran away from the war, so I one of those who fled the war. Had two countries as my refugees countries, Sierra Leone and
Mhm.
Guinea. And later I found myself here. I live here with my beautiful family. I got the first set of kids, they're gone out. And I got a second set at home, three girls at home. And then they're the one driving my day. And so, man, in
That's
addition to
right.
the
That's right.
community work and other professional work. But I just mean a little bit of me. And as the conversation go on, I'll talk more about how I got involved in what I do and what brings my passion in life. By the way, I wanted to be a geologist when I was growing up, and now I found myself completely outside of the science and engineering.
Completely different. Yeah.
Yeah, to community work, and,
Uh-huh.
and I just passionate. Yeah.
And thanks so much just for that introduction of yourself. Now let's look at the organization. Okay, you are the national president for United Bong County Association in the Americas.
Yeah.
So can you give us a little bit more information concerning United Bong County Association in the Americas? What sort of work are you people doing? What impact are you making in the community,
Mhm.
not only just in the diaspora but even back home as well? Can
Mhm.
you share that with us, please?
Yeah. So the institution been around long time. It started in the 1990s, and but like any other community organization, it has its trajectory. So it have moved from different phase to another one. So in the 1990s, the organization was a 501c4 until 2019. We decided and say, you know what, the 2004, 501c4 rather. 501c4 organization and stuff, we said, you know what, we would not make more impact as a pact, organization that deal with more politics and civic work, and so we can move ourselves in the non-profit setting. So the organization transmute to the formation as a 501c3 non-profit organization. So we fully registered in Minnesota as a 501c3 organization, and 2021. The other Facebook got a tendency of reminding you how old or how you do. So 2021
Absolutely, that's right.
for the organization, and I just realized it's 5 years. It was July, and so we asked the community to give us the opportunity to serve, which they did. Next year will be the end of our service, and hopefully we can have another leadership next year July, because the organization formation is a national organization. It has its membership across. I think currently we're across maybe 15 states now in terms of our membership and chapter registration. It's a chapter based organization, and we have a fully functional office in Liberia as well, in West Africa, specifically in Banga. That's part of the region of Liberia we come from. And this institution, through the great young people, are doing wonderful work. We run a computer literacy or digital learning center. We started that program a few years back. We realized almost everybody wanted to create a little computer, lab that folk can just go and do homework. We realized 70% or 80% of the folks that were coming there had not sat before a desktop. Imagine someone with a
Wow.
college degree or a high school degree had not sat before a desktop. So we kind of transformed the whole process to a training skill building program, and teaching the community basic computer knowledge from Microsoft Office, PowerPoint, and spreadsheet, and all the basic use of computer programming and stuff, basic knowledge of computer. So currently we are, I think this is our seventh cohort, and that we will be graduating sometime next month. We have graduated. We have trained more than 700 to 1,000 young
Oh,
people
wow.
in
Excellent.
the community organization. We also have our Women Initiative program, which we teach women skills, and we're transforming that program to more a corporate kind of program model, where the women in the program will be able to benefit from business development skills, funding for their own business development in the community. Because nonprofits just go and sometimes train these folks and just leave them. And having somebody with the knowledge and
Wow.
don't give them the resources to make that knowledge a reality. So we're moving to that vision. We got we're building a modeling center. It will be a digital community learning development program in Total Bong County. If any of you familiar with
Wow.
the route, the Bong County, that building is at the roof level now, and that building will be a modeling digital learning and community development center. We'll be able to host some of our computer digital learning program, along with some women empowerment program in that building. And recently, this is the most exciting one.
Mm.
We just launched a $1 million community, multi-purpose community development learning center, I'm
Oh,
excited
wow.
for this project. We working towards it. We put it in the hands of the young people, and they're running with it. And that plan, that the purpose of that building is to provide, it will be a space that people will be able to develop learning space there. We'll have a museum in that building as well, to be able to
Oh, wow.
capture some of
Wonderful.
our historical artifacts and history about us. So when somebody drives in Bong County, go there, we'll be able to see the museum of Bong County, and learn
Wow.
about how we came there as a people and the different history of us. So I'm excited about the organization. So we are a non-profit 501c3 organization, largely funded by members of our community that come from the region of Liberia. We have other folks. That's just a little bit of what we do. We got community farm too. I don't mean not forget about that. Before
Oh, wow.
people get mad with me, we got a community farm that the idea of that farm is not just to do rice farm and crops and other crops and stuff. It's to also teach young people the skills of farming. That farming can be something that they can make their living from. We can move from just the regular farming and sort of more industrialized farming opportunity for the community. So yeah, so if this is a full-time job, it's volunteer. It's a volunteer job. I
Yes.
think it's a
Yes.
full-time work. We got a 4-star operating in Liberia. and I'm excited. This is a unique opportunity.
Excellent, excellent. Well, thank you for sharing that. I mean, it's amazing what a nonprofit organization alone can do to impact a nation. To impact a nation, and again, that's the heart of our conversation today: nation building through community engagement. Through community engagement. So we're not going to some nitty gritties of our conversation. Mr. President, when you hear about the word community engagement, for the sake of our audience, what is community engagement? Let's just say, what is community engagement?
I really like the question. To me, instead of going through dictionary and Google search, it's
Yeah.
simple. Community engagement is the folks. I think let me just give you a little background before the definition. Community engagement is the bedrock for every societal development. Every structure of an institutional structure that, in fact, for you, the biblical, you the biblical scholar, or, you know that Jesus' work was directly community driven. In fact, anytime you
Mm.
saw it said in the temple, they were mad with him because you were telling the. Again, I'm not a big biblical scholar. You were telling the more landed people, say, you guys neglecting the community. In essence,
Yes.
I may be saying it as a simple knowledge here, but you can see the foundation of community, the structure of this in the civil rights movement, the development of structure in this country. So the bedrock of any development for any institution, every society, it comes from the community. The type of water you get in the type of water safety that you got in your community, it comes from the water you drink, the taxes, the levy on your property in the community. And a lot of what we do, to me, is the most utilized process or institution that we have. But fundamentally, that's the bedrock of every development or every society. I think we'll talk a little bit how we Africa specifically missing that opportunity to really harness the resources and the value that community organization can put. So in essence, community engagement is simply that the people is involved in the changing their lives to develop their lives and determine how their society, their community should look like. You as a pastor, your community get involved in community engagement. Somebody's sick in the community, they don't call the city mayor. They start with the
Mm.
pastor. So they start calling their pastor a community organization. So we in the forefront. We are in the forefront of the development process in every society. It would be in Europe, America, anywhere in the world, Western countries, Africa. We are in the forefront, but we are the most unutilized, and I can say, folks, in fact, folks sometimes recognize us for instance, when a political campaign is going on, oh, let's call the president from
Hmm.
Bong County.
Yeah.
But after the campaign, when we're sending fundraising notices out there that we're doing direct program that impacting the lives of the people, we don't see that. We'll talk a little bit more about that. So to me,
Yeah.
the community engagement is the community involved in their development, making decisions, and government, other institutions harnessing that resources that comes from the community for the greater development of society.
It's so amazing, as you explain this, because it's interesting when you mentioned that we are the most unused or unutilized. Because when I think, in the context of Africa, sometimes what I see, is that, at least back in the day, there is this overwhelming confidence and trust in government, that we believe that if the national government doesn't do something, then the society, there's hopelessness. You know what I mean? There's no way we can advance if the now. And I understand we'll talk a little bit about the role of national government in this whole process. But what you are saying is that a nation, the nation rests on the shoulders of the communities, and as the community develops, that's a trickle down effect on the entire nation.
So true,
I
so
mean,
true, so true.
am I correct? Am I correct? I mean, that as the
You couldn't
community.
have said it better. In fact, I will add to it, when
Wow,
the community drives development, society
wow.
and the nation benefits. The trickle down idea that somebody sits in the high up and make the determination what you and I said get. In fact, we'll talk a little bit about that. You can see what is happening in the corporate world today. The corporate world determines most of what happened in our community largely. And so instead of it being the community driving what's happening, so if the community drives, if the community is in the center of making decisions, because I asked somebody the other day, my neighbor, I said, when last you been to the with this, city council meeting? He said, oh, so I don't even know where it's located, and that's true. Many of us don't even know who our city council members are. But guess what? These are the individual who makes decisions pertaining to what kind of role you get in the community, the potholes, the issue of the potholes being addressed, what kind of businesses or housing, and establishment happen. So that's how much a community organization or community engagement process is value to every society development. I think, to me, one of the reasons why Liberia and other African countries are not fully developed, because we're not making use of this value that we have. And so we
Yes.
think that the central government, as you talked about earlier, people in the federal government or central government are the one who's driving what is happening. No, it's completely the opposite.
Wow, wow. This is good because just thinking about it, as you said, the community, the community, they are the frontliners. I mean, they experience and they meet, they see the need physically and tangibly. Someone in the capital city, in the executive mansion, or someone they are not in your local community.
No,
I
they
mean,
don't know what
they don't.
happened.
They don't know. They don't know what happened to
No,
the
no.
market person, to the farmer, to the person on the street, to the single mom. They don't know. It is the community leaders. These are the frontliners that literally, because you're right. Well, when that single mom gets sick, or that young man gets sick, he's not going to call the executive manager. He calling the community leaders.
So true,
The
right?
community it's the community leaders that will pay the visit to the house.
Hmm.
It is a community leader that will have family meetings.
Hmm.
They will come when they come to raising money to help somebody that's in need, to bury somebody. It is the community leaders that the community that does that. So just listen to what you're saying. That our eyes to be open more in Africa to community engagement, because you're right. When they call for council meeting, community council meeting, people don't go.
No.
People don't go.
No.
And to be honest with you, I mean, I'm so glad my eyes being open to this, because I'm one of those.
And lastly, you don't feel guilty. That's pretty much that's what happened. This
You're
is
right,
not,
because
yeah. This
yeah,
is not Africa versus West stuff, because it's not. It's underutilized. We don't see the value of it until
yes,
the issue of
yes.
job fraud or something like this come up, and you see civic organization, community organization, and somebody, oh yeah, this is an organization called this and organization. That sometimes that's the only time we even come. People know we even around and stuff. But I went to my community council
Wow.
meeting the other day, and I introduced myself. I'm from United Bong County Association and the president. And so somebody walked there. He said, "What you do?" And the elderly man, I was talking to him. He said in the 40s and the 50s we have these institutions. Where are they now? He said, "Oh,
Wow.
institution has become part of the political political
Yeah.
institution has control us as a."
It's been politicized. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly,
It's been
exactly. So
politicized.
yeah, yeah, yeah.
Wow. So speaking about community engagement now, in your experience, because you lead a large group of people, um, if I'm not mistaken, I think the Pele tribe, the Bong County, is the largest tribe, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, in Liberia,
Inside,
the
yeah.
largest tribe. And so I mean, you
It's
being the national
estimated
president,
what I think 20% of the entire population. So imagine if
wow,
we have one group
wow.
of
So that's
people who
huge.
are 20% of the population, you pretty much 16 tribal
You have,
groups for that matter. And stuff.
yeah. Yeah. So you being a national president in the Americas, as being in the diaspora, particularly in the USA. I mean, you're the national president. I mean, for all these people from the Pele background. But let me say this: in your experience leading a community network like this,
Mhm.
uh, what are some of the challenges you've seen? as a community leader when it comes to community. And I know you did mention it. They don't People don't come to meeting. I mean, people don't come to meeting. I mean, that
Right.
just and sometimes the narrative is that, oh, when we go to a meeting, we got to do fundraising.
Yeah.
So they don't want to give to the organization. Which, I mean, those are two challenges right there. They don't come to the meeting, they don't give. But
Yeah.
then when there's a need on the family structure,
You
they
call the
go to
president.
you. They calling you. You know what I mean? Besides those two, are there other challenges you see when it comes to engage with the community?
And I will say this. This is twofold. We can look at it from the broader
Yeah.
perspective here. And the membership of society looking at community organizations and institutions like ours, and also the institutions that set their role as well. So one of the greatest challenges of us, to me, as us as organization, is that our network, we don't broaden our network. That's one of the biggest challenges. Let me start with me. I usually say, before you start telling someone, start with yourself.
Yeah.
Be critical of yourself. Then you can value what you do. So we as a community organization, sometimes we don't even create the network. For instance, Bong County United Bong County Association. I just told somebody the other day, we need to start, inviting African Americans now and other people from different national, because our institution membership is now only, we may be predominantly people from Bond County, but we can, according to our bylaws, we membership is open. So why not start recruiting people African American background, Asian background, Caucasian background, other people, and bring them there so they can know what we do. So one of the biggest challenges of us as an institution, we as an institutional leader, we kind of stay in our little corner. So people don't know
Wow.
about us. At the county organization, we don't even network among ourselves as much it is. Bombing, bomb, lofa, and stuff, and unless maybe there's a program going on, you see in your emails, the invitation. And so
Yeah.
let's be a little bit critical of ourselves before we can even come to the broader perspective here. And one of the major challenges that I think you mentioned about it. It's accountability. I think we'll talk a little bit about that. We see organization, and when we took over this institution, again, I'm not trying to put our past leadership in on the bus, but we had some administration that could not even tell us how to spend our money. If we get negative balance, they don't want to let us know. But since we took over this organization over the years, we made sure every report that will come out there, our financial statement is there. And it's open for audit. So one of the major challenges is that these institutions are sometimes don't want to be transparent. And when you are not transparent, guess what happens? You a pastor, you know that better than I do. And so when you're not transparent to your membership, people begin to ask questions. This is my principle. If I'm taking money from you in the public, you shouldn't ask me for a report. By the time you ask me for a report, then that means I'm also neglecting my responsibility. So transparency is one of the challenges that we face with these institutions. So it's go two ways. Because of lack of transparency in a lot of these institutions, people don't see the way to be involved in it. People see the institution as, oh yeah, they just collect money. I don't even know what they're doing with our money. So and I was just talking to a member of our community, and the person said, "Mr. President, this time we can see our money. We see the billing going up in Toyota.
Wow.
We see the women program. We see the computer literacy program going and stuff." And so when you start asking the people for money, despite the struggle to raise money, you make it a little bit easier. So that one of the
Yeah.
challenges we have is it's both ways. We as leaders of these community organizations, small nonprofit community organization that is in the forefront, of how the development, we need to be able to be transparent.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. Wow. Excellent. Excellent. Moving along,
Hmm.
the next question I want to bring for our dialogue is that,
Hmm.
what happens, to a community or to a nation
Hmm.
where there is no community engagement. I mean, just think about a scenario where just a lack of community engagement. I mean, how does that impact the entire nation structure? In fact, the nation building process.
That's where I want us to be in the process of nation building. I think I said to you earlier that, to me, the bedrock of any nation building is directly from the community. Every societal development from prehistorical time to Jesus's time, this and stuff, it's come from the community. Democracy or the democratic experience that we enjoy today, it started from the community. The institutions that we enjoy today, it started from a group of people coming together, engaging ideas. We just U.S. America just celebrated 250 independence. See how this experience was created. That group of folks coming together in the community and say we can do something. So to me, the reason why, let me just go to Africa, specifically Liberia, places like that where we come from, got real life experience. Liberia is a good case study. If I have a dissertation or a research topic to work on, Liberia will be a very unique case study. Community there are very vibrant. I was just sharing with you earlier on the backstage. And we come for the idea that, oh, people are not resourceful there. People just eat your money. In Africa, you send money. No, that's completely, that's, to me, is it's a stereotype. The community, they got young people, productive people who want to see, like anybody in the community, they want to see development going. But because the central government that makes the bigger policy that's going to impact the whole society overlook those institutions there in the community like ours and stuff. And I was just sharing with one of our lawmakers. I said we need to have a budget line because we graduating over 1,500 people. This cohorts that we're doing have over 200 participants, teaching them real life skills that they will go and find and make living with. We need to have a line in the county budget. But let me just talk specifically what you're talking about. So the reason why development is tall in a lot of these places, because you got a bunch of folks and things who sit there in the central government or federal government and stuff, want to determine what the people need in the community. And the second part of it, they don't want to engage the folks in the community. Lack of transparency, lack of accountability, and stuff. So you see, let me just go to our little town in Bong County to be really specific to you. The last time we had, the only time we see our political leaders, our policy makers, let me not even call them policy makers in totality. When you see them engaging your community, either Christmas coming, they go carry a bunch of rice and give it to folks. It almost becoming like I call it the token community work, where you come and give. I see Dr. Reyes. Dr. Reyes is influential. He got some, folks following behind him. Giving a motorcycle or giving a few bag of rice as a way to harness his support so that tomorrow he can get his folks to follow behind me. And we forget about the development process that's supposed to be sitting at Dr. Riggs, who has a community organization, sit with him and say, Dr. Riggs, how can we develop young people here? I see no school here. I see a lot of the folks sitting down here, a lot of the young people sitting here, maybe riding motorcycle or sitting down and taking drugs. What can we do in terms of developing that community? So we become neglected, underutilized, it will become irrelevant when it's time for elections. And when political or policy leaders need our support, then that when we become the elections is coming again, all these folks will be sending me a letter, they want endorsement. Oh, Mr. President, can you endorse this party, ANC, United Party, CDC, and stuff? Right after the elections, I'm talking specifically of Liberia, right after the elections, when you send invitation to them, they don't even reply. Or their email bounce back. So the question he asks is fundamental. The development of of any nation has to come from the community. We need to value what the community brings on the table. The community institutions, then from the churches to the mosques to the different civic organizations in the community, all the folks and stuff, what they bring there. If we can funnel our development or have them sit there on the seat to make those decisions about what they need in the community, we'll have a vibrant community organization. Our diaspora community is completely underutilized. I see recently the Liberian government is spending some time to have this diaspora forum. Great, a clap for them. We say in our Liberian way. But having a diaspora conference doesn't cut it. What are the programs? I saw the survey that I filled up this time with 20 some more question survey and stuff and things about what we can do as a community organization. But I read through the survey. One thing that was missing there even more of what can we do for you as a community organization instead of what can a community organization determine or and suggest or recommend that we do for them. So it's almost like you see this power down kind of structure. That's why our community are left alone because people don't see the value of it on this time for elections. They get elected. This is not only Africa. This is in this country. You see, when after elections, you don't see our politicians. They all disappear. When elections time come now, they come to all the events because they want everybody to vote for them. So we need to make sure that the community have a seat on the table.
Well, just just so much to digest here. As you were talking, what came to my mind is that you know the impact on public policy that governs a nation. Policies set in place to put a nation on track. Just thinking about it, because for me, my doctrine was in public policy, so I'm
Okay.
more interested in why the policies, that drives a nation, or why policies undergirds a nation. And when you think about it, policy, is driven primarily, or should be driven primarily, by research, and then so if policies must be driven by research, then where do you get the data from the research? And it comes down again, like you said, it comes down to the community, because the different survey, you know what I mean. So it speaks volume to me that even before a law can be passed in a nation, there has to be some engagement with the community in terms of research surveys. What is the community saying or think about this thing? you know w- w- how does this impact the community? I mean, so there had to be town hall meetings, things like that, and the community will interact with these proposals, and then come up with a position statement, and out of that statement, if central government can get data, real life data, that would impact the kind of policy they make to affect people. But what we see oftentimes, Mr. President, what we see oftentimes in Africa, because again we focus more Africa, we are more Afrocentric. What we see most in Africa is that we don't see a lot of these community engagement. We don't see research done on the community. We don't see surveys done in the community. So we wonder how is it these politicians are passing laws and policies that govern the nation when there is no engagement with the people on the ground, and no engagement with them. You know what I mean? So it strikes me that we are missing out, or we are making some major mistakes by not having these research done, these data collected on a community level before making these decisions to pass laws and policies.
And I would just add to it. You couldn't have said it better than this, Doc. You imagine if I'm elected as a representative, I'm serving a district X here, and I want to know what is happening to my people. We all know data. We all know information. So as a result, they create pet projects. The guy sits there, he goes there, he create pet projects, and that pet project should be something that will either benefit him or a cronies. Again, I'm not trying to demean people here, but that's the
Yeah.
fact of the matters here. Because if you have the data and know what is happening in the community, that the community is involved in how the development is going out. I mean, what they need. Let me just give you an example. Let me put some of our president under the bus here. Let's be real. Because education is part of my passion. I see in our country they created these community colleges. It was Ellen Johnson Sirleaf's administration.
That is
Bravo.
Liberia. You talk about
Okay,
Liberia
Liberia,
now.
yeah,
Okay.
Liberia to specifically. Created these community colleges. Almost every county has its own community college. Lofa County Community College, Bong County, Nima, and so. Great idea to have community college. But guess what happened? It was just the idea of having buildings. Because to me, if the government would have had the real data and say, what we need to do here in terms of, and first thing, let's look at the resources. Do we have the resources to fund all the community college? I can say no. Because I serve on the board with Bong County. Our entire Bong County budget is 1 point some more million dollars. Now with university. Imagine having running a university with $1 million and stuff and things. So to me, it's not use of it's not better use of government resources. So you have unfunded community college. Obviously, if you have institutions that are unfunded, guess what happens? educational level, teaching and stuff, and things going down the hill. And so, because if the better way could be, how can we use these resources, maybe develop the institutions that we already have, or have them positioned in a place that maybe in three counties, Lofa, Nima, and Bon, we can have one centrally located community college that will serve, public community college that will serve that region. So instead of having every county having their, pretty much almost every county having their own community college, the government can't even fund the University of Liberia. And they're struggling to fund it. Then you create all these community colleges, then you left them alone, and you want them to make magic. It's impossible. So we're letting down the whole. I just coming to the point you're making, because these decisions are not made with real data from the community. It made by individual who sits in central government, makes decision, create pet project because if they say Bong County Community College, look for it makes headline, it makes the government look good, but is it really benefiting the people as it should? I can tell you say no, because there's a lack of real thought process going into it and see how these institutions will actually serve this community. It's not wrong to have a community college in every county. I'm not saying that
That's right.
that's the wrong idea, but if you're creating something like that, you first got to get the funding of it.
Yeah.
The recent government, our president made a big announcement. Oh, free tuition for all public school colleges and stuff. It sounds great. We all clap for it and stuff and things. Guess what happened? We all no serious thought into it how we're going to, because if you stop the tuition from value from the community college and say free tuition and stuff, guess what happened? That good chunk of the budget of the colleges you're cutting off.
Mm.
So who funds it?
Yeah.
Where you get the money from to fund the colleges? Then you send a Bong County University, you send them 1 point some more million and you say they should do a magic. It's impossible. Just to maintain the building alone, it will cost you
No.
maybe two, three, $400,000 before even talking about salary and all the other processes and stuff. So the point I'm coming from, Doc, is that our society can do better if we come back again to with the community. What can we do here? And so how and that's what I said to our when we started this program in Liberia. I said we were not this. I told the folks over there, take ownership of what is happening. This is not an imported program. We're not taking our idea, the expert Bong County citizen taking the idea. You tell us what do you want us to do. So we did our own need assessment. You in
There you
public
go.
policy. We did all our community, and the community said this is what we need. And so then we support that effort the best we can to develop it. So at the end of the day, it benefits if as long the people, that's a key part of it. As long the community knows that this project develops from them, they got vested interest into it.
Yeah.
And when they do have vested interest to it, that program will be sustained.
Wow.
But if the
That's
guys
amazing.
don't, there's no vested interest into it because somebody came from abroad or somebody came from executive mansion and created a pet project in the community. They would just look at it. This is Dr. Ray's, the Senator Dr. Ray's project.
Wow.
That's why you see all our lawmakers then got name on projects. It's not
Yeah.
even community projects.
Wow. 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 We are talking with Mr. Caimon Joe Gbamokollie, National President, United Bong County Association in the Americas. On the line with us, making comments, we have a number of people. Obviously, my wife Isha is there. She one of our cheerleaders. She's there. She says she concurred with you that policies should be driven by the community data and community research. She's also into market. She understands market research, so she's strong on data gathered from research. But we also have Mr. George Toto with us as well, and he asks a question. Yeah, welcome, Mr. Toto. He says in the question, in what ways can the community gain a voice at the table? So that's a
Super
question.
question.
That's a question you're asking. So
Like
for the
that.
better of our audience in the conversation,
That's a
let me just throw
very
that out to
important.
you.
Thank you, Dr.
How
Toto. Yeah.
how can the community gain a voice at the table?
That's come to one of the key process of your organization. It has to come from a unified front. If everybody wants to be president at the same time, everybody wants to be the community leader all the time. I see, for instance, Dr. Reyes has a women empowerment program. I go there too because I want to be a leader and start another women empowerment program. Instead of going to
Mm,
sit with Dr. Reyes and say, Dr. Reyes, I see you got expertise working it. How can we partner together to do something? So one of the reasons why our voices are diluted
mm,
or we're not being heard is because we're not uniting our resources and our time together. We're creating different pet institutions to satisfy either, I'm the president of this group or that group. So that the Toto's point that he question he asked is heavily loaded. One of the ways that we can have a voice there, the first thing is for us to come together. I just told somebody the other day, Lofa County president, when I met not their last convention, the convention before, I said, Mr. President, how can we see how we can bring our own resources together as a county organization? National county organization. If Lofa County got a project, community organization having the project there, how we, Bong County, can go and support that project. Nima County President myself had that conversation, and we said, Mr. President, you're launching the $1 million project. In fact, we'll have one of the fundraising gala in Nima County. You
oh,
see what I'm so as long we come together as a community organizations and institutions and instead of everybody trying to create a group here and there, and so we become a unified force. When you become a unified force, guess what happens? You will have the saying go when you're not on the on the table, you're on the menu. So
mm,
as a result, we become because we have divided views, and so so one of the ways that we can do to have a unified front, if having a unified front can give us access because numbers is resources as well. So one of the ways we can have a voice at the national level is not just to wait for campaign time, then we start organizing. It's to start now. Bring we as community organizations sit together and make demands.
mm,
Let's stop having conversation and to the point that we always go there and like we're begging. I just talked to somebody the other day. The community should not be going to beg the central government. The community should be telling the central government, hey, we're paying taxes, we're getting resources for our community. This is what we want in return. We want water, safe drinking water. We need school for our kids. We need this and stuff. And we as institutions, how we can help to harness it. So the answer there, it may not be the only answer. There are so many reasons we can do, but I just picked to that one. If we have a unified front where we community organization can have a unified voice, bring us together, people from different expertise. Dr. Toto, he's whatever area of expertise comes on board. Dr. Riz, brings his institution on board, and we sit together and have a real concrete conversation. How can we harness these resources to have a voice and make demands?
mm,
Let's start having conversation. Now we need to make demands. You can't only come to us when you need our votes. We should tell
yeah,
you in return, this is what we need as a
yeah.
community organization.
Yeah, and I mean, just divulging that information. I mean, again, you whatever you're doing in terms of recommendation or suggestion,
Mhm,
you're giving the idea to help.
mhm,
It's their legacy. It is their legacy, literally. What I mean, as the
mhm,
community, the community, organizations do better.
mhm,
It is to the legacy of that president because you know what I mean. Because you're serving, you're working under his. I
mhm,
mean,
mhm,
during the time of his leadership. So partnering with the community organization is to the is even to the benefit.
mhm,
It's to the
mhm,
benefit. You know what I mean.
mhm,
So
mhm,
things like that. But we also have online with other Pastor Destay Crawford. She's another active person with Affiliation, a
mhm,
very strong partner. And she said,
mhm,
she mentioned amazing informative conversation and she very appreciative of what was going on here, but she also
mhm.
commented that vibrant community do not need to be a large number of people. If people agree on specific ideas, they can fulfill any given purpose based on mutual respect.
Super. Super. In fact, that's our mantle.
Wow.
So that's what I mean for me. That's what. In fact, this is clear data on that. You do research.
Mm,
Institutions, the people who actually do the work is 20%. Any institution.
wow.
Most,
Yeah.
especially
Yeah.
community organization, non-profit institution is even. I think it will be even a little bit less than that. The people who actually do the work, or the people who sits there and make the process go, are very few. So she's right. You don't need to have 2 billion people there to solve the problem, the stuff. You need to have few people like minded who want to make a difference. Sit together, develop ideas, find a way to fund it, find a way to bring stakeholders on board, and impact society. People are result driven. If I see Dr. Ray's, the institution he leads, you run this podcast. Your vision is there. You want to educate people about development, how we African can take hold of our own development process. I listened to one of your podcasts. I can't remember who was the person, and that stuff was fundamental. We can't always be sitting on there, somebody making a determination what we eat, what time we eat. We should be able to make the determination. So the point I'm making here is that we don't need everybody to come there. Because if you bring people there who are not passionate like me, I've been doing this thing. I don't get paid doing it. I enjoy doing it. I enjoy every fabric of mine, and stuff my being is involved because I like community organization. I like to see. The other day I got a little teary when the lady called me from Bong County and said, "Mr. President, thank you so much. It's because of the work that you've done. My child was able to get a job."
Wow.
Because of the community work that you're doing. Guess what happened? We got 7 people running, I think 7 or 8 people running the office in Bong County. We got about our whole leadership here. I think we're about, our whole operation team here in the US, I think will be less than 20. So you have 20 plus 10 people there. We have 30 individuals that I just give and take care, 20 to 30 individuals who run this entire institution and impacting lives of people.
Wow.
So she's right. That the comment that she's made is fundamental. You need to find people who are God like minded to work together. You don't need if everybody gets together, it will be chaotic.
Yeah,
So,
yeah. It's interesting because we see this working
mhm,
fairly well
mhm,
here in the West, and that's
mhm,
again, since I've been here in America, educated
mhm,
here and things like that, I've really observed and looked at the systems, and I think oftentimes people forget to look at systems that run an institution or run a nation.
mhm,
I try to look at the system that they have set up,
mhm,
for governance,
mhm,
and
mhm.
what makes it's not perfect, but what makes this system of governance more effective. And one thing I noticed is that is the involvement, the engagement of people in the community. Community, I mean, like you talk about the city council. I mean, those councils are so strategic to sit to the governance of the state.
That determines how how their roles look, who
That's
builds
correct.
where, what,
That's
and
correct.
where within the society. So that
Absolutely.
same model, if we can take that same model in, for instance, let me be a little bit jealous here,
Yeah.
and stuff, specific here. Let's take that model into Bong County. I'm from Sanoye district. That's where I come from. Instead of getting a city commissioner who reports to, because our city governing process is from town, I think from town chief, clan chief, I think paramount chief, commission. So you have all the folks appointed by the central government. So their authority lies, or their reporting process is to the central government.
That's right.
It's not with the people in the community. It's to the president, whoever appoints them in the authority. So, as a result, there's completely disconnect right there. So, to come back to the point that you just raised, so imagine if we have this process here, this same kind of model that we take here.
That's right.
Let me just look at the water system. Every city has its own little water tower
That's right.
that
Yes,
gives
you're right.
water to the community.
You're right.
So imagine if we can take that same model and say, you city here, you're responsible to make sure that it's water. We'll find the funding, we'll find the resources and give you the expertise, but it's your responsibility to manage this water system. That so the community is involved in that process. And you get this water. I just using water tower as an example.
Yes, yes, yes.
Get this water tower. Look at the school district. The same thing. The school
That's
district
right.
is
It's true.
operated by community. Community makes this decision by school district. But in Liberia, for instance, or most African countries, the decisions of our educational system is made from the central government.
That's
If a
right.
lawmaker there who has no connection with a community school, you think they will have any, they don't even know what is going on there.
That's
So
right.
this is a very unique. Again, you see how it comes back to the community.
And just to piggyback on that, another question that comes now based on that, do you think that in Africa the central government
Mm-hmm.
is afraid of community leaders, or and if they are, why should they be afraid? I mean, shouldn't they see community leaders as partners in progress, as partners in nation building? I mean, here in the West, I don't see anybody afraid of. In fact, they encourage the city council to meet to know what happened in the counties,
Mm-hmm.
in the city, so that it's all part of the budget of that
Yeah.
state. You
Mm-hmm.
know, but why is it in Africa? Mostly we see government is like the central government is afraid of these community leaders. When it's a community leader rising up, they see threat. They see threat. He
So that
rises up.
let me just give
You
you an
know,
example. Okay, quite recently I saw a story in one of our newspapers. It said, Caimon Joe Gbamokollie is thinking about running for political office to be senator, and so it's laughable. And I understand what I'm saying.
I wouldn't be bad too. No,
The first thing I said to the president, who somebody called me, I said, "But what's wrong with that?
there
Anybody
you
can
go.
run
Yeah,
for it." And because he said, "Oh," and then somebody said, "Oh, you want to run for the senator position? The current senator, you want to run?" I said, "No, that's not a senator position. I said, that position of that senator is for the community." The
yeah,
community is the one or representative, the one that elected this person and gave them that position. It's not that person's private position. I just using that as an
yeah.
example. You come to the point. You remember I said first is community organizations is underutilized. Now when we underutilized, I can say to the point. I can add another point there that we abuse.
Hmm.
And the reason why I say we abuse, and sometimes we as a community organization accept that. Because we have, I'll give you an example. In Liberian community here, elections will be coming, I think 2028 or 2029, few years from now. All the community, all the political parties now, they're going to sleep on community organization. They don't call us anymore. But by the time 2028 comes, they want to come to our events, they want to call us, Mr. President, I need to talk to your community, and we give them audience. And after the election, they go. So the reason why they're afraid of community organization, guess what happened? Because we got the numbers.
Yeah,
The
yeah.
people that need to go and cast their votes are the people that report. Again, we came to our earlier point. People in the community, when something happened, Pastor Riggs, they calling you. They calling me. They don't call the senator. They don't even have the senator's number. They have
That's
our number. So the people in the authority, in the political authority, they know that we have the numbers. We influence the people. Who the people call. The person that somebody calls when they're sick, and that person pay attention to them, that's the person they will hear more than the senator, or the representative, or the governor. So that's the reason why they're afraid of us in essence, or they don't want to create that collaborative working relationship with us, because we got a way to, we can either sway people to them or from them. And so it's I don't know whether the word afraid of us is the right word. I think they, to me, they
intimidated.
afraid
Maybe,
of us.
maybe
Because it's
intimidated.
the last institution. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah. Wow. Wow, this is a rich conversation, folks. This is a rich conversation, but I know at some point we got to come to an end. We can go
Yeah,
on and on
we
and
can.
on and on and on.
I told you I
You know,
left my engineering stuff to do this stuff. So now you
it
know
is
where
it
I
it
come
it,
from.
it, it
We can
is
talk about this until Judgment Day.
I know, I know, I know. But just to piggyback on some of the points you raised, like you were giving a practical example concerning,
Mhm, mhm,
community colleges, in the
mhm,
different, counties,
mhm,
and and so Dr. Toto made a question: will you recommend that the county community colleges be consolidated to save costs? And I think you kind of alluded to it, that if you can have
yes.
a central, that could serve
Mhm, mhm,
three different areas, three
mhm,
different communities,
mhm, mhm,
that because I think it's more of efficiency.
mhm,
You want something to be efficient and
mhm,
effective.
mhm, mhm,
As you said, it's a good idea to have community college in every county, every
mhm,
city. That's
mhm,
wonderful. But
mhm,
number one, look at the personnel.
mhm,
Do you have the staff?
yeah.
Because when you say community college, you're not only teaching them one career.
Mhm, mhm, mhm.
That multiplicity of disciplines you're going to be teaching.
Yeah,
Some people
yeah.
want to do
Mhm,
accounting, some people
mhm,
want to do nursing, some people want
mhm.
to finance,
Engineering and all
engineering.
those
Yeah.
things.
So the quality of the instructors alone,
Mhm,
can they
mhm,
be compensated to do that work of teaching?
mhm, mhm.
And then you're looking at the infrastructure,
Yep.
building of the college.
Mm-hmm.
the air conditioning. Yeah,
Mm-hmm. The
I mean,
maintenance.
yeah, I mean, yeah, we're not even talking about the chairs and because we're in the 21st century. They will need
Yeah,
overhead projector. They will need
yeah,
all those
yeah.
kind of
Mm-hmm.
so just the infrastructure alone.
Mm-hmm.
I think you already answered that question that why you were proposing it. That is,
Mm-hmm.
consolidation. Is one way to start thinking about now.
Mm-hmm.
And, until you can get to the point where you can fully fund
Mm-hmm.
all these, community colleges in all these cities and states.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
It's critical to just at least start with one. Start with
Yeah.
one that can serve a
Mm-hmm.
multiplicity of communities, and then you
Mm-hmm.
can build from there. I mean, will you concur with that?
I do, but I don't know whether the community colleges will want to. I don't know. Bong County University will want to have Nima candidates. No, I just saying that, but
Yeah,
it's really important that we focus on. Again, we need to redesign. Again, I'm coming back to the point. We need to redesign our development agenda. We got to come from that top down process here. We can't kind of come from the bottom. Or the policies is make from the top. I'm not. We
yeah,
can't take that away.
yeah,
But in
yeah,
order for you to make that policy, you need the data. You need the information. What works? What doesn't work? Let's stop creating pet projects, because a lot of our community development agenda projects and programs are pet projects. That somebody sits out there and feel that this project can sell, can get me the next vote. If
yeah,
I can start, that's why we break a lot of grounds. I don't know in Liberia. Have you
yeah,
seen that?
yeah, yeah.
Almost
We
every
have
senator
these.
and representative breaking grounds for building. A few years ago, one of our senators were all calling his name. Came to one, or I think they were no, I think that time was senator. They came to one of our conferences. So they brought a big PowerPoint presentation on the different community health, especially healthcare clinics. That's the one is prevalent in our country. Everybody
Yeah.
get health, but so they show all the pictures of the clinics, commissioner buildings, and this. So I asked a question. I said, how many of those clinics are actually working as of today? They couldn't answer because most of those clinics were not working. And you know why it was not working? Because the representative, perhaps the past representative is the one that put up that building and they're gone. And there's no funding. So you can't even blame this representative now, this senator, because there's no funding for that anymore. Government, our whole government budget is just $1 billion. Whole nation budget is $1 billion. And bravo to the government bringing in $1 billion. But we need to start thinking beyond that. So you got people breaking grounds almost everywhere. Every politicians or every community leader want to break ground for buildings and stuff. So we build small stuff all over the places and all over the places in Liberia and other places. The same thing can be applied to Ghana and other places as well. We build do the pet projects, build these things there and stuff. How if a clinic is built and no nurse is there, no care is given there. What the essence of you having this building? So as a result, those buildings become building unutilized, and some of them tend to dumpster, and people do there and go defecate there and then use it for other purposes and stuff. So you saw that the gentleman was showing us those photos of clinics, and I think less than 10% of those clinics were actually utilized.
Wow. Wow.
It's
That's
sad.
amazing.
We need to
That's
reinvent
amazing.
our development process. When you get to we make budget based on our annual income. I will be specific. Like rural government make their business or do their work with all looking at their budget. How can you create community colleges all over the country when you can't even finance University of Liberia?
Yeah.
A university guy, you can't even make it to be a modern university, but you got community colleges all over the country. You want to take education to the people, but what the essence of you having a building unutilized or teaching people sustainable education, and so it better not to do nothing.
Yeah. We're talking with Mr. Caimon Joe Gbamokollie, National President, United Bong County Association, the Americas,
Mhm.
on this important topic about nation building through community engagement. Mr. President, as we wrap up our time together, AfriEach, again, we are Africans for Restoration of Ethics in Government. We believe that there should be a restoration
Mhm.
when it comes to how we do government in Africa,
Mhm. Mhm.
specifically in the era of ethics.
Mhm.
Ethics.
Mhm.
Our conviction is that Africa can do better if she simply do it right.
Mm-hmm.
If you simply do right, you can do better.
Yeah.
So as we wrap our conversation on this important topic, what words of wisdom you want to share with maybe a politician out there or government official out there, or
Mm-hmm.
someone who will share this podcast with someone in authority, some public servant? What words of wisdom you want to share with them in terms of their involvement? How can they work with community organization, community leaders, to help, to help in the era of nation building? How should they see community, organization or community leaders?
Mm-hmm.
What word do you have to say to them to kind of at least give some counsel, give some assurance or some wisdom to them that
Mm-hmm.
community leadership they should not be threatening community leader, but they should engage community leader, should embrace what's happening in the community because it helps in nation building.
Mm-hmm. So let me just start from the broader perspective here. Africa is the most richest continent in the world. Period. Why are we the most? And I was talking because I, from a historical background, I studied Western European colonialism and all their involvement in Africa, the different institutional building. I did that at my undergraduate degree. And fundamentally, the idea of post-colonialism, of the process of Africa's development now, like the AU and all these institutions and stuff, we need to rebrand ourselves. We need to have a value added. The saying goes, if you don't value yourself, society will not value you. So we need to have a value added to ourselves as Africans. And what can we do to be able to rebrand ourselves as a continent? The second phase of it is that what can we do. So instead of, let me come back to the community organization. Instead of us all seeing somebody who comes there or institution that come there from the development arena, seeing them as a threat to us, let's see how can harness the resources and stuff for the greater development of our society. So Africa being this rich nation, why development is stagnant on our continent? Ghana, rich with resources. Liberia, overwhelmed with resources. Zambia, Gambia, South Africa, all these places and stuff. And we endowed with resources. I don't even want to compare ourselves Liberia, South Africa, or Ghana, other places.
Yeah.
But let me just look at Liberia, endowed with untold resources. Bong County, let me go a little bit down there and stuff and things. Endowed with natural resources from gold, diamond, and whatever you can think about. But guess what happened? Underdeveloped. Simply because I come back to the idea of being a leader, ethical leadership.
Yeah.
How can you be able to manage this, what this society has given you, the opportunity they have given you? Why we keep abusing the opportunity that we give us, that I mean society has given us. For instance, if I'm the superintendent of Bong County or the senator of Bong County, people elect me to office. Instead of me working with this building, the first thing I want to do, build my own personal wealth so that people can see me and say this man's a rich guy. Because if the people that elected you, you get richer than them, you feel the society unethical. And we as a community don't ask them. The guy gets a position. He had a motorcycle business, and he gets elected in 5 years time. He gets a mansion. If you calculate this person's benefits and everything throughout their term, the what they have now not comparable. Then we say it's okay. This man has arrived, he has achieved. So to come to the ethics, we need to be accountable. That's where accountability comes from. Accountability and transparency. We need to hold the people that make these decisions about how resources are spent or development taken. We need to hold them accountable. We need to look at the president of, that means go to the president. We need to look at the president, Mr. President. Instead of flying all over the places and stuff and things, going on all these trips and so, which is fine. How can we cut down the cost and have your foreign ministers then go instead of you having the 200 delegations going with you and stuff and into the meeting? What can we do ethically to be able to save some of
mm,
this money so that we can redirect on the funding to the little school in Gbamokollie town or in
mm,
Sonoye or in Todota or in Kakata? Instead of sending 200 people to come for diaspora conference. But
mm.
each other government officials that come in, government paying for them. Why
That's
will
right.
you have a community diaspora conference? You bring in all the ministers, almost all everybody there. It's because of vacation travel. So I'm saying this in the ethics play a major role in every societal development process. If we are not ethical the way we manage the resources of the society, we'll continue to fail our society. Liberia can be better. Africa can be better if we just decide to be accountable to
Mm,
society that we have given you. You have given me the opportunity to serve, and I'm going to do it ethically. I will be transparent. I will do it with some level of accountability, both me being accountable to you and you also be accountable to me and hold me responsible. Let's stop clapping for our policy makers when they don't do nothing. The last time Madame Lemon Boy said something from Liberia and there was an uproar. She said, why would we be calling some of these people the honorables? And
mm,
it was the uproar. Well, I mean, I understand where she comes from. That's the rich. If you misbehave and, you know, drinking in your house with your kids, and how you expect your kids to respect you? That's the true fact of it. We as a society need to start holding the people that we give position to accountable. Let's stop clapping for them when they do nothing. If they do something, let be the first to hear that. Also, again, I'm passionate about this
yeah.
because for me, development of every society, that's the bedrock of it. Be ethical. I've
Mm,
given a position. I'm accountable to the people who have elected me, who have given me responsibility. I'm required to report to them, not the other way around. They should report to us. I had one of our senator came here one time, just show up, and she wanted us to leave for our little farm work or whatever we're doing to come and greet her. I told her, ma'am, sorry, we're not going to meet you. Next time you come here, tell me in advance that you come here. You need to respect us as an institution.
mm,
You don't just walk in and say we should leave everything because you're the senator, but that's what happened back home.
yeah.
When the senator is going, everybody leaves from there. The president coming from vacation, all the ministers and even the agriculture minister going to meet the president. Are you part of the protocol team of the executive mansion? What you because the time you take from work, you're using government gas, you're taking people from job because you got to take all your aid, your security and stuff. Instead of them to go follow behind the president, they got to stand there to shake the president and work. Why you misusing the government, the citizens' money, resources? Those are things that we need to start talking to our government, our institution. Why would you have all the ministers then going to welcome the president who just went to Guinea for a few hours? It's supposed to be the work.
Wow. That's amazing. That's amazing.
Thank you for the opportunity. I hope we can do this.
Yes, yes.
Yeah,
I mean, I believe strongly that we just scratched the tip of the iceberg. There's just
it
so
is. It
much
is.
more. There's just so much more that we can dig into.
Mhm,
But nonetheless, the conversation was meaningful. It was very, very, very strong and healthy. And
mhm,
the comments couldn't go through all the comments because of time constraints. But really, just talking with you, it kind of gave me a deeper appreciation for community leaders.
mhm,
And I must
mhm,
tell you, I feel personally convicted too that we have community meetings, and
mhm,
sometimes other things get in the way of it,
mhm,
and
mhm,
we don't really push ourselves. But folks, if you listen to this is very important. Our mindset need to shift.
mhm,
Our mindset need to shift, especially those of us in Africa. Our
mhm,
mindset need to shift.
mhm,
We need to start getting more engaged and more involved in the community level.
mhm,
That's what's happening right here in the Western world. They
mhm,
are engaged in on the community level, the city
mhm,
council meetings. Those people are
mhm,
attending it, letting
mhm,
their voices be heard, and the
mhm,
council leadership take it to the governor mansion, and policies are being formed based on the need of the local community. And so we need to shift the narrative, and we need to start getting engaged with our local community organizations,
mhm.
and then government want to sit also. African government don't feel threatened by these
No,
organizations.
we are
We are
allies. We
there. You
yeah.
go. yeah,
We want
we're
you to
not enemies.
succeed, and that's why I
Yeah,
say to
yeah,
all our political leaders from
yeah,
Bong County, I want
yeah,
you to succeed.
yeah,
I'm
yeah.
your
We
best
want that.
ally. Let's just
We
work
want that.
together. Yeah.
Yeah, and if you in public service as a government leader, government official, the president can trickle down some of the resources, the financial resources, toward these local community organizations that will utilize this to create and build these institutions. Like you talk about building community colleges, trickle it down to these leaders in these communities that they will build infrastructure because they know they're going to build it for the people. And you hold them accountable. You hold them
Yeah.
accountable, transparency and things like that. It will be to your advantage and to the advantage of the nation building process. So again, we want to just leave you with this. Africa, we can do better if we simply do right. And especially in the era of community engagement, we will look keenly at it and work with these community leaders to develop this area that will lead to nation building. Mr. Gbamokollie, thank you so much for being with us. It is very much appreciative. I mean,
Thank
just
you.
having you here, your expertise is so rich. To our audience, Dr. Toto, Pastor Crawford, Sis Visha, and others that with us, want to appreciate you. Those are watching us live on our website, on Facebook page. I appreciate you so much for being here, and we hope the information will benefit you and just the knowledge that we can pass on, to others, especially to those back home on the
Yeah.
continent of Africa. We will upload this on our YouTube page. So if you go to YouTube and you just type in, AfriH, you should see our YouTube page. We'll upload all these videos there because we know with Facebook after a period of time the video automatically disappears. But our YouTube page will send it there so that it can be there as a resource. So
Okay.
thank you again for being with us. Next time, join us next Thursday. We have another person here sharing with us on another topic. But it's always a joy, always a pleasure. And before I leave you, I must say this: we are a nonprofit organization here in the U.S. 501c3. If your heart is touched, you like what we're doing, you want to contribute to it financially, we have Cash App here, $ AfriH. We also have our Zelle account. You can just take advantage of that as well to be a blessing and just share with us some financial resources that will help us in some of the things that we're looking at doing down the road on a larger scale. But until then, you all be blessed. Enjoy the rest of your week and come back next Thursday to join us again. Thank you so much, Mr. Gbamokollie, and you have a wonderful time. Okay.
Thank you.
Uh,
Keep doing what you're doing. You're changing lives and you're
thank
changing
you.
minds. And so
Appreciate it. Appreciate
rebranding
it.
Africa.
Amen. Appreciate it.
Thank
Thank you,
you,
everybody.
sir.
Have a good night. See you
Good
next
night.
time.
Good
Bye
night.
now.
Good
Bye.
night.